Good. Welcome to STT 205. As I said earlier, you are in week 2, and the topic for week 2 is presentation of data. Under week 2, we are going to look at unit 3 and unit 4. And we are going to take them one after the other. Under unit 3, which is summarizing the data, we are going to look at the following: unordered array, frequency distribution, relative frequency distribution, and cumulative frequency distribution. I believe by now you have looked at your course guide, unit 3 and unit 4. They are the 2 units we are going to cover under week 2. So when a data set is collected in such a way that there is no pattern in the arrangement of the values, we say that the data is an unordered array. That means we need to arrange the data set before you carry out any analysis on that particular data set. And if you have looked at your course guide, you see further definitions of how you can arrange that. Then for the frequency distribution, I'll use an example to illustrate how you can handle that. You are expected also to read under unit 3, the relative frequency distribution, and finally, the cumulative relative frequency distribution. And at the outcome of unit 3, you are expected at the end to know how you arrange on other data sets. Okay? You arrange an array of data in ordered form. At the end, you are expected to know how to prepare the frequency distribution for both grouped and ungrouped data. And finally, you construct a relative frequency, cumulative frequency for group and ungrouped data sets. If you look at this table, it's not arranged in any particular form. So you are expected to put them in a tabular form, taking the tallies and putting the frequency. That's just the 2 things we expect you to do when you have a table like this. So if you are asked to put them in class interval, maybe I'll call on Grace, since she has unmuted herself, to help us. What would be the first class interval for this particular set of data? Ms. Grace, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma, I can.
Can you handle that question?
No, ma.
If you are given this type of data set and you are asked to classify them under intervals, we expect you to have a table that looks like this. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, ma.
Good. Others, you can still feel free to unmute so far your background is not noisy. Because if it's noisy, I'll block it from this side. So the table I just showed you before this one, if you look at the table, I hope this is not blocking our table. Can you see the table very well now?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Just want to make it clear. If you look at the table, you see that we have 19, we have 13. At least that will tell you that you have to start your class interval not above 13. 13 is the lowest value, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Can you identify the highest value from that table? Check. Let's work together and see if it will be clearer how you can get your
Highest value is 86.
God bless you. So when you're looking at forming your class interval, you go within the range that is lower than the lower value and stop at the range that can accommodate the highest value from your table. if you look at how I started the class interval, I have 11 to 20. If you check the table very well, you take the values that are within that range, put on your table. Can you see that?
Yes.
So from your table, which are the values that you can put under the first class interval? We have 13, any
13,
other value?
17, and 19.
Thank you very much. Is there any other one within that range?
Nope.
Others can unmute, check, and do the practice by yourself. Look at the raw data. Is there anyone within the range? We have 13, 17, 19. I think that's all. That's all. So what you need to do is just under frequency, you put 3. Let's do the second one first because we have other ones. You have the one between 21 and 30. If you have 21 and 30, going back to the table, can you pick the values that are within that range? That will form our frequency. Can we do that very fast?
Yeah, 5, ma.
Good. So if there are 5, you still represent in your tallies. If you look at the tallies, that's how you do others, because I just want to give a simple example that you can follow suit and compute the others, forming their tallies and their frequencies, okay? So now that you know how to do the tallies and frequencies, looking at the second one, we just selected 5. Is the tallies okay?
No, ma'am.
What's wrong with the tallies?
The tally is showing 4.
Okay. The next one that is 31 to 40. Is there any wrong with the tallies that we have? So the basic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is
Yes. You have 7 there instead of 8.
Instead of 8.
So I just need to add 1.
Yes.
How do I add the 1? Is it just adding the stroke? No.
No,
Comma, there's a stroke across.
like
Yes.
this, like this.
So the next
This
slide.
is correct.
Good. So the next slide is showing us how you put your tallies. When you count 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one will cross. And likewise, you follow suit. Good. So with that, look at the activity from unit 1. We are expected to look at the activity after going through unit 3. We said from table 1, prepare. Please, if your background is noisy, don't mute so that you can hear me very well. Number 1 is the frequency distribution for the class interval. You have been given a range. So what you just need to form the tallies and the frequency, okay? And 2, we expect that you calculate the frequency distribution, which is also under unit 3. The third one, relative frequency, and the finally, cumulative relative frequency. Now, there is a particular thing you need to note about the cumulative relative frequency. At the end of the calculation of that particular column, everything must sum up to 1. Everything must be equal to 1. I'm talking about IV. I'm talking about IV, this one, cumulative relative frequency distribution. It must sum up to 1. If it's not equal to 1, you know there is a mistake somewhere. You go back to the table and check. You have simple ways of calculating that. Also in unit 2, we expect you to know the following: how to define class limits, class boundary, class width, and class mark. Can anybody try the question 2A and 2B? Is there anybody that can help us explain what is class limit, class boundary, class width, or class mark? Anybody? Those people that have tried to look at unit 3, we have the definitions under unit 3. Is there anybody that bothered to look at unit 3? Here you have our class limits. Okay, without wasting much of your time, let's look at what is class limits. We'll still use from that example I gave you. I use that to illustrate, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
I said that class limit good. So look at what I have on the slide. For any class interval, there are two class limits, the lower and the upper class limit. From example 1 on slide 6, the one I just showed you, I started the class intervals so I can illustrate what is class limit very well. So 11, 21, the ones that we have here, 11, 21, 31, 41 are called lower class limits. While the other side, you have 20, 30, 40, 50 to 90 are called upper class limit. Let's look at class boundaries from the same example. Except for any class interval, there are two class boundaries, the lower class boundary and the upper class boundary. It means that the lower class boundary is from the example I gave you. Let me illustrate with this table. You can use your class interval or class limit. If you have your class limit, the lower class boundary before the next one is what you use. The preceding interval is what you are going to use. You know, before this one, what is the class limit that we have? Before you have 11 to 20, what is the class limit up before this 11 to 20? Can anybody give me the range?
I think 0 to 10.
0 to.
Thank you very much. That's the correct answer. So for us to calculate the class boundaries, we have 10 plus 11. That's the upper class boundary of the interval. You have 10 plus 11 and to give you 10.5. Subsequently, you have 20 plus 21, giving you 20.5. You continue like that as you calculate the table. It will be clearer when you go through this video again, which I will upload for you after the class. Let's look at the class width. This is the difference between the upper and lower class boundary. Let's take example also. You have the class intervals of the class is selected. The class interval is 10. That means 20 minus 10, or you can go through your, under your class limit, have 20 minus 11. Yes, 20 minus 11. And under 20 minus 11 will give you what?
9.
Good. That means whenever you're calculating your class width, you don't use class limit. Use what? Class boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yes, use your class what? Boundaries. So for your class boundaries, yes, it makes all the classes to have equal class width. If you look at the table, we have all of them equal to 10. On your own time, you just cross-check and it will still be the same thing. Look at the class mark. Class mark means the upper and the lower class boundaries. From the same example, we illustrate how you get your class mark. If you check under class boundaries, you have 10.5 plus 20.5 divided by 2 to give you 15.5. Another way you can calculate is using your class limit. 11 plus 20 divided by 2 will also give you 15. You follow suit and calculate and get the values for other classes. Now you're also expected under Unit 3 to know the definitions of group data and ungroup data. If you are asked to differentiate between the two, you define ungroup data as the relative frequency of a value, where you use the total frequencies of all the values contained in the set of values. I take that again. I say for group data, the relative frequency of a value is defined by the total frequencies of all the values contained in the set of values. For group data, the relative frequency of a class interval is the frequency of the interval divided by the total frequencies of all the class
Of all
intervals.
class intervals.
Good. If you check your course guide on page 39 to 40, it gives details of how you can handle ungrouped and group data sets. With that, I would like us to look at Unit 4, the graphical presentation of data. Under the Unit 4, we are expected to know how you can put in graphical form the frequency distribution, how you can plot the histogram. And plotting the histogram, make sure that you plot the frequencies against the class intervals. You can see that on page 46 of your course guide. You're also expected to know how you plot your frequency polygon, plot your OGIF. You can remember another word for OGIF. You can remember another word for OGIF.
Cumulative frequency.
Cumulative
Frequency.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am. Very sure.
Cumulative frequency
Yes.
distribution curve. That's the full name. Cumulative frequency distribution curve.
Another name for OGIF. OGIF.
Then you look at your bar
It's
chart.
cumulative frequency.
Look at your bar chart, how to plot the bar chart.
That's what they call cumulative frequency. That's another name for OGIF.
Look at
another name
your
call
simple
this.
bar chart, component bar chart. Please mute your mic. Olubusola, good. Thank you very much. Mute your mic. Olubusola, we are waiting for you. Please, sir, mute your mic. Thank you. After looking at how you can compute how you can plot your bar chart, Olubusoye, I will sign you out, please. You look at how you can construct the simple bar chart, component bar chart, and multiple bar charts. And finally, your pie chart. At the end of Unit 4, you should be able, to plot histogram, frequency polygon, and OGIF for a set of values. You are also expected at the end of Unit 4 to construct simple component and multiple bar charts for a set of data. And finally, know how to draw a pie chart. Let me just give you a simple question. How do you construct a frequency polygon so that both ends will touch the horizontal axis? Can anybody answer that for me? I take the question again. How do we construct a frequency polygon so that both ends will touch the horizontal axis? The question. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Good. Please. I take the question again. I say, how do we construct a frequency polygon so that we touch the horizontal axis? There is what we call imaginary class interval. Imaginary class interval. So when you are computing the class mark for imaginary, you start computing your class interval. We are going to use and plot frequency polygon, starting with the imaginary class interval. You compute that at the beginning and at the end, so that when you plot your frequency polygon, the both ends will touch the horizontal axis. Guide, you can find that in details on page 48. So you go back to your first guide, look at how you can do that, and take example from page 48. There is an example there that illustrates how you can plot your frequency polygon in such a way that you capture the imaginary ends of the two class limits, so that the ends of the frequency polygon will touch the horizontal axis. Another question is as cumulative frequency distribution curve. Who can complete the sentence? What is OGIV used for? Can anybody try? OGIV is used for what? There are many things we use OGIV for. They are listed on your page 50 of your course guide. So if it's one that you remember, list one. List maybe two. I need answers to my questions, please. What do we use OGIV for? Page 50 of your course guide. Kabi, mute yourself, please. Kabi, mute yourself.
Okay, Loma, we use OGIV for media.
For calculating the media.
The median, yes, percentiles, quartiles, and then interquartile range.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I think, but this one, this uses, I think we'll discuss it later in this our manual later. I think they have this
in your manuals, yes. I told you just to list the uses of OGIV.
Okay.
They're explained in details in your manuals also, but not under unit 4.
Okay.
They're explained in a different unit. But for now, your job is just to learn how to construct OGIV and know what you use OGIV for.
Okay.
Please, if you don't have the floor, mute your mic, please, so that we can hear your thoughts very well. So when you are done with unit 4, you're expected to attempt activity 3. Activity 3 just telling us that the profit made by 3 income centers of a hotel for a period of 3 consecutive years are as follows. We have income centers A, B, and C, captured under 3 years. The first year is 1998, 1999, and 2000. You are expected to look at your page 50, 51, 2, and 3. How to construct a simple bar chart, component bar chart, and a multiple bar chart. If you look at those pages, They explained the basic difference between simple bar charts, multiple bar charts, and component bar charts. There is more information in component and multiple bar charts more than the simple one, in the sense that the simple bar chart just gives you the plots using the bars. But the component bar charts also make the bars in a different shape, having a key telling you what is going on in the real plot. So before the announcement, I would like to stop the slide and listen to one or two questions on the areas that we have discussed so far, so that if there is any of the things that I've said so far that are not clear under Unit 3 and Unit 4, you feel free to indicate by using the reaction box. Ask the question. If you indicate, I'll unmute you. So we take questions on Unit 3 and Unit 4. If there is any of the explanations that I've given in the tables that are not clear, we can still go back on Unit 3. If there is any question you want to ask on Unit 3, feel comfortable to ask, so that we'll go back and explain very well.
Hello, ma. Good morning.
Indicate using the reaction box. Indicate that is, if you check under the Zoom, you see where you have share, chat, reactions. Use that box and indicate. Thank you very much. Let's hear you, Janet. Unmute yourself, Janet.
Hello, ma.
Yes, I can hear you very well.
I couldn't get the calculation of the class boundary and the width boundary, the class width rather.
Okay. So we need to go back to the slides, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Janet, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, okay
ma'am.
with the class limit, right?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, you want us to start with the class boundary?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's look at the definition together. For any class interval, you're okay with the class interval. You know how we generated our class interval, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. If you're given any raw data, you can organize your class interval, selecting
Yeah, you said the lower range are the lower class limits, while the upper, the higher ones, the lower ones are the lower class limits on one array of it. Then the other side, which has the higher big figures, they are the upper class limits.
Yes, but I'm talking about the class interval now. Can you form a class interval if you're given a raw data set?
Yes, ma, yes.
What's the first thing you're supposed to do? Let others benefit from that.
You are supposed to identify the lower figure on the main question.
Good.
Then you arrange, yes, then you arrange them within the ranges they fall into. For example, like the example you gave to us, the lower one start from 11. So in between the 11 to 20 is 1, then 21 to another to 30.
Yes.
Those are the interval. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you very much for that. So let's look at the class interval. For any class interval, there are two class boundaries. The lower class boundary of a class interval is the mean of the lower class limit. Look at the class boundaries. You can see my pointer.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at the class boundaries. We are telling you that the lower class boundary of a class interval is the mean of the class is the mean of the lower class limit. The mean, you know what is the mean? When 2 is dividing the lower class interval plus the upper class interval. Okay?
Okay.
Now, here you have 10 plus. The lower one, somebody gave us to be 0 to 10, and I said that's
10,
correct.
yes.
Good. So the lower one that is supposed to be here, we didn't capture the lower one because we don't have any number in that our data set ranging from 0 to 10. So
Okay.
we didn't capture 0 to 10 because there is no number within that range. That's why it started from 11 to 20. So 0 to 10 still exists, but there is no entry.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Relax, Sunday, please. Let me finish with Janet. Okay, thank you. So here, 10 plus 11 is divided by 2 for you to get 10.5.
Okay.
So on your own, if you calculate 10 plus 11 divided by 2, you are going to have 10.5.
Okay.
Good. If you go ahead with the other ones, just do that and confirm. Let's know we are on the same page. The minus 2, unfortunately, didn't appear on the slide, but that's the correct calculation of how you can get your 10.5. Do that and confirm, okay? Then your second question is on what?
I said on the, hold on now.
Are you okay?
So now I calculated using my calculator here.
Okay.
10 plus 11 is 21.
Divided by 2.
Divided by 2 is 15.5.
No, it's 10.5. 21
Do it
divided by 2.
again. Yes, do it again, Janet.
Okay.
So as we are waiting for you.
Okay, yes, it's 10.5. Yes, ma'am.
So thank you very much. That's how you get the other one. You know, the upper boundary, what you just do is what? 20 plus 21 divided by 2. The slide didn't capture divided by 2. Are you there? Good.
Yes,
so if you
yes,
divide by 2, you get the other ones. The other values follow suit.
Okay, ma'am.
Can we attend to another person? I had, is it Mr. Philip?
Yeah,
Mr.
yes,
Philip,
ma'am.
unmute yourself and talk to us. What's the question?
Okay,
Is it
yeah, I wanted to
under
correct
class
something.
boundary?
Yes, I wanted to correct something. That the previous interval before 11 to 20 is not 0 to 10. It is 1 to 10.
Okay. That will, but all not what we are interested in that particular class. We are interested in the upper, as in 10.
It's just because of the other lady. So when she's generating, because if she uses 0 to 10, it will be more than, it won't be tally.
Yes. But you can still have a class interval ranging from 0 to 10. Are you there, Mr. Philip? Yes.
Yes, we
but
can.
In this particular scenario, in this particular case, we are considering 1 to 10, 11 to 20, and so on. Okay? Is there any other question on class boundary? We should go to the next one.
The class width, ma'am.
Class width. Okay, this next one.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, let's look at the definition together. This is the difference between the upper and lower class boundaries. This is the difference between the upper and lower class boundaries. Okay?
Okay.
Upper and lower class boundaries. Are you seeing my pointer?
Yes, ma'am.
We just follow them row by row.
Oh, okay.
From the example, the class width from the class interval is 10. And if you notice, the class width of all the classes, all of them are equal to what? 10. So if you subtract the upper one minus the lower one, it will give you the value.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, Janet. Is there any other question we are going to entertain from the slide? Any other question? Any other question from Unit 3? How many of you have not succeeded in signing in to our course page, STT 205? Is there anybody? Is there anybody that have not been able to view the course page?
Yes.
Titilayo,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
what happened? You have not been able to see all the things that I've been posting there and the videos.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
I don't know how to operate it, so.
You don't know how to sign in?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in our WhatsApp group?
I joined last week when you were saying we should go to the Gmail, where I got the information that there's going to be online lecture. So I joined last week.
That's serious. Is it Kefi?
Yes,
Kefi,
ma'am.
are you on?
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
talk to her? Can you talk to Titi?
Okay. Titilayo, are you on the WhatsApp group? That's what.
Exactly, I'm on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
on the
WhatsApp now.
after the class, I will
Let's-
send the link to the GST portal. You just click on the link, enter with your matric number. If obviously you've not changed it, enter with your matric number. Your password will be your matric number, but in lowercase. That's the NOU will be in small capital. You understand?
It will be small capital when I want to
Yes.
enter it with
As your password.
Okay.
Once you sign in, you will need to change to a new password.
Okay.
Then on your left-hand side after signing, you see where you can click my courses. All your courses for this semester will pop up.
Okay, ma.
Good. So what Kefi is going to do for us is post the information again on the WhatsApp. But all of you are going to assure me that you're not going to post anything on that WhatsApp except things concerning STT 205. If you notice, I opened the WhatsApp, but as people started posting things not concerning the course, including church activities, all of us are not Christians, please. There are other people in different religion. So you just don't come and use that as a religious forum, please. If you notice, I stopped everybody from posting and make it admin only. Because if it's open, Titi would have had opportunity to ask and you put her through. If there is just information not concerning STT 205 or concerning how you can access our course page, please don't post. Maybe I'll go to the option of blocking people that are not posting what is concerning the course. Margaret, I can see your hand.
Hello, ma.
So let's hear you, Margaret. Okay, is it Janet also? Let's hear Margaret.
Yes, it's Janet.
Yes. Good afternoon, Margaret. Good
Okay,
afternoon,
go
ma.
ahead, Margaret. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, ma.
You're
Sorry,
welcome.
ma,
Go ahead.
I've not been able to join the WhatsApp group, which I would love to join. And that's my matriculation number, the email address I use in registering was wrong. There was an error on the spelling. So I've not been receiving email.
Okay.
So because of that, I've not been able to join the WhatsApp group.
Okay. So, Kefi, can you put the WhatsApp link immediately on the chat so that before the meeting goes, before this meeting goes off, because we just have 16 minutes left. You can access or that's Janet. See how we can help Janet. But after this meeting, I'll open the WhatsApp again. Please post only things concerning STT 205. Please.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me not close that again. Yes, you're welcome. Janet, let's hear from you again.
My question is about the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
I'm in the group already, but talking about posting things that are not related to STT.
Good.
But is it allowed that we can ask questions concerning our other courses? For example, I've not been able to get an email from any of the facilitators of some of my courses. And I've been trying to get that to no avail.
Just listen. That's why I will open it for Kefi to put you through. If you post any information that is not STT, I may block you personally. Please. Let's see.
No, you didn't get my question, ma.
No, I did. When you sign in, as Kefi will put you through, all the courses that you registered will apply. They will just appear.
I don't have a problem with STT, ma. You didn't get my question. I don't have a problem with STT. I've been able to get my course page and the likes. I'm in the group already. But some other of my courses that I've registered for, I didn't get an email from the facilitator. So I've been able to ask for other ones. So I don't know how you can be of assistance.
That one, a quick one. Let me answer that one. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
All facilitators, all of us, we have our pattern of teaching. It's not everybody that is doing as I'm updating the SCT 205. So it depends on we are independent of each other. There is no rule that says that you must do this for your students to follow. I'm trying to put up the video, trying to put up all the weekly posts and all those information on your page so that you look at what we are going to do in the live section before the live session. Okay? I want you to be conversant with some of the registers, some of the things you will hear today before today. That's why I take time to upload that page. It's not compulsory, it's not must that all facilitators must do that. So it depends on the person handling that particular course. He or she may decide not to upload or send any email or open any WhatsApp. But I think that will help the students to know what you're talking about. You carry as many as possible along if you give them more information before the live teaching. Okay.
All right.
So
thank you.
If you don't receive such things from others, if they are not mandated, it's not compulsory that they will do it. This is just my own style, and I believe that it has been working over the years, and I believe that I should still follow that pattern. Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma.
I'm just the one that innovated this one. It's not a must that others to follow my own style. They have their own style of teaching. What do you think?
It's a good one anyway, because the last semester rather, I had most of my courses being facilitated. But I remember that I was unable to attend the orientation program for this semester. And during one of my courses, I think one of my colleagues said it was told all the facilitators should send an email to all the students, then form WhatsApp group for all the students. So far I've been able to get just 3, and I have about 4 or 5 left.
Okay, let me just give you an example of what is going on. It may be the instruction that all of us must do that. Okay. So I've given many activities, and I don't believe all of you have done those activities by yourself. So you can give out instructions, and it depends on how individuals will react to the instructions.
All right.
Are you? Yes. So you don't force them to carry out whatever they want to do. Can we hear from you, Mr. Christian? You're welcome. Mr. Christian, you have the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I've opened the GST portal, but the problem I have is how to access the e-library now. I don't know whether it's clicking on that particular image. I've done that, but it's not.
I told you no. If you go under that image, you have been opening other documents, right?
Yes.
Good. If you go under that image, you see something captured virtual library. If I know that you still have issue, I would have shown you a sample of the virtual library, because last week I added more tests to the existing one.
Okay.
And more videos to the existing one that can help. So skip the icon row, go to the next row that is under that icon.
Visual.
Yes, visual. Click on that, you have access to the library. Don't click on the row that had the icon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And another thing, please, ma'am. I think I would have suggested that the WhatsApp group, you just leave it to admin only. It's even better that way. Even if you
maybe
just
I will
them
open
to
a little
and close it again.
No, I believe that we are matured and we don't know the reason why I closed it. There is a second chance. Let me give you people second chance. If you still don't stick to our rules, I will now leave it for admin only. That means if you have any question, any difficulty, you can't access that WhatsApp, which I think that's why it is meant for us to interact. But if you don't want to interact as adults, I'll close it and leave it for only admin to post information. Can we hear from Grace, please? Grace, talk to us. Hello. Grace, are you there? Unmute yourself. Talk to us.
Okay, I was asking, can the link to the GST so we can join?
I didn't get that, please.
I said, can the link to the WhatsApp posted on the WhatsApp group?
Margaret, mute yourself, please. Okay, maybe I'll mute you from here. Go ahead, Grace.
I'm asking if the link to the GST portal be posted to the WhatsApp group.
Yes,
so,
yes. Go and click and join, please. Is it already?
I've not seen it on the WhatsApp group.
I'm looking at it from here. I'm looking at the message, yes.
It has not appeared on my phone. I don't know why.
And you have not joined?
The WhatsApp group?
Yes.
I'm on the WhatsApp group, STT 205 for 2021 group.
So which group do you want to join?
The one I need to log in with my matric number.
Okay, that's what we are saying. As you are in that group, I'm going to open that group. Kefi will put you through. There is information she posted earlier. She will just repost that information. Okay.
Okay.
If the guide is not clear, still you can interact on that platform. Okay.
Okay, ma.
So immediately after this meeting, I'll open that.
Okay, ma. Thank you, ma.
Yeah, you're welcome. Kefi, do you still have any question for us? Your hand is still up.
Okay, no, ma, I needed to let the class know that I've put up the link for the WhatsApp group on the chat so they can check.
Yeah.
Those that haven't joined can join.
Okay, thank you very much. I've seen the link also. Thank you very much. Any other question from our unit 3 and 4? Please, I would like to plead. Always go to our course page. I'm always updating things there, okay? Go to our course page, look at what we have updated so far before joining the next Wednesday meeting. Remember, our meeting is always by 12 noon. I really thank Mr. Philip. He's the first person that logged in. Mr. King Philip is the first person that logged in. So I give him kudos. So others should follow suit. Let our 12 noon be 12 noon, okay? I think if we are not having any other question, I will share our announcement for the week, which is telling you the necessary things you need to do. Always check your course page for updates. Go to your e-library and facilitation section recording regularly. That one, facilitation section recording means all our live classes, all of them, I'm going to upload them under this section. I've uploaded the last week one. If you click on the YouTube, you view what we have done so far. So today's one, after the section, I'll also upload for week 2. You go like that till the last week. In SCT 205 by yourself, view your weekly posts and mail often. Join STT 205 WhatsApp and click your Zoom link for Wednesday meetings on weekly basis. And check your WhatsApp also, because I'll be updating on your course page and your WhatsApp, okay? So with that, I thank everybody for joining, unless there are still questions for me under Unit 3 and Unit 4. At this point, I want to urge you, please, before Wednesday, try on your own to read Unit 5, 6, and 7. You're going to take the 3 units together for our unit, for our week 3. So if there are no questions for me, we just have 2 minutes to go. If you see any question under unit 3 and 4, you are free to ask. If not, we will sign out as I see people next week, Wednesday. But before then, keep on checking our course page. You can unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself. You can, if you want, on your video. If you want to on your video, unmute yourself. So till I see you next week, Wednesday.
Sorry.
Take good care of yourself. From my end is bye.
All right.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you,
ma.
ma.
Thank you, ma. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, ma. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Right. Right.
You're welcome.
Lecture, tomorrow.